Hello friends, my name is Sarabjit Singh and I'm here to talk to you about a new series called Startup Success. I'm going to be airing one webinar each Saturday on this subject from 2nd October 2021. And this series will continue consecutively for 14 weeks. I am hopeful that all good people who are in the startup ecosystem will join us in this series of videos. I'm an engineer MBA with 34 years of experience in industry and 20 years in advising startups and rejuvenating businesses. As an agile learner, I have width and depth of post-COVID-19 soft and technical skills. I keep totally up to date and use my knowledge to help startup grow at the right pace and in the right direction all the time. I deal with two types of startups. First, totally new startups. I take them through formation stage from idea to minimum viable product. This takes 3 months. And from minimum viable product to readiness for market, we have the validation stage, which takes 4 months. If and when startups are ready to go on to the growth path, I do special work with them. This usually takes 2 years. In the past, in the pre-COVID stage, sometimes this took 10 years to achieve exponential growth. Now we have reduced it down to 2 years. Then I deal with existing startups through what I call advanced advisory. Existing startups are already set in pre-COVID-19 ways of working. Things have changed so drastically that you have to relearn everything and bring in new ways of handling everything. And you need much, much more innovation in each step to compete with new emerging businesses. We'll talk about this a great deal in the program, the 14 webinars that I'll be doing. My mission in life is to share knowledge and add value to everyone I meet and to everything I do. This has been my mission since 1982, and I'm so much involved into looking at this mission every day that I am never happy with myself unless I have helped a couple of people understand and do new things every day. This is what drives me. Now, who should attend Startup Success Saturday webinars? I would say everyone who is connected with the startup world. This includes people in startups which are at any stage of development, and then existing startups who are seeking exponential growth and want to understand what direction they should be now taking. Then this will help angel investors and venture capitalists judge how well the startups they are backing are progressing in the stage accelerators in which they are learning what to do. Then I will be addressing myself to organizations who do startup activities, who support startups. And also, more important than all these people to me are entrepreneurs searching for innovation-rich life. I want to show them how creating new startups will help them and help the world at large, because in future 80% of our wealth generation is going to come from new startups. This is a fact. And then I also want dear startup advisors to come and join this program, and we can have good exchanges, and in these exchanges improve ourselves to become better at creating new startups for budding startup. Now, my webinars on 2nd October, the first in the series, is about how we create 100% successful startups that grow exponentially. This exponential growth stage is from the time startup has gone to market and it starts growing. A stage comes when this growth really accelerates and becomes exponential. But everything has to be in line with what is best for the end customer. Unless this happens and we keep innovating and innovating again and again as we go along, we cannot really accelerate growth to an exponential level. Remember, in new startups, nothing ends. Innovation continues every minute, every second. We are looking for new ways of doing things. Now, people usually believe that, startups begin with an idea or ideas. You have a good idea, and they say, yes, why don't you make a startup? You take this idea, put it on the pedestal, and then develop it by looking at markets, needs, and strategy. In the programs which I have worked with and discussions that I had with people in various areas, I find that this approach does not really work. And because people are following this approach, only 5 to 10% startups actually succeed. Now, startupcommons.org, again I said, startupcommons.org is an institution with which I work very closely and I'm a member, like thousands and thousands of other startup advisors. And we have come to the conclusion that the right approach is by first looking at markets, then looking at the needs that are to be fulfilled in the market, the strategies that are to be involved in doing this, and then we modify the idea and come to the right ideas. This is a highly involved area and way of working. I'll cover it fully, I promise you, in my 14 webinars. Very well, I'll cover it. You'll find there's so many new things there that most of the startup advisors may not be doing in a lot of places. Now, when we look at this new way of working, and we say we should go from markets to needs, strategy to ideas, it is not enough to just walk from one end to the other. There's a reiteration process. You keep on going round and round till you get things right. And even in the middle, while you're doing other things, we revisit this cycle. So here's what we do, that after working out our planned innovation, that is ideas, by going from markets, needs, strategy to ideas, we see how this impacts the markets in the mid and long term. Mid-term means in the next 2 years, and longer term means 5 years. 5 years is a very long term in today's world. And when things change in the mid and longer terms, we have to change rapidly and do course correction. For this, we use a strategy very, very carefully and do a lot in that area. We, in our language, we call it strategy hierarchy. We create a strategy and an action plan to achieve this hierarchy of strategies. Now, the thing is that COVID-19 has highly accelerated pre-existing trends. What has happened is that COVID-19, which officially began on 1st January 2020, it created a lot of new norms and new restrictions, new ways of customers and everybody else having to work. This preponed extensive digitization and artificial intelligence fueled businesses. When people were asked to work at a distance, it created a real revolution. I'm sure you understand what happened. And to deal with this, digitization was extensively used. What was expected to happen by 2025 in the digitization and artificial intelligence area happened in just 6 months from 1st January 2020 to end June 2020. We are already in 2025 in terms of development. Can you imagine? And by 2025, we'll be where we would have been in 2030. It's mind-boggling. Now, availability of reasonably priced smart products and smart services just rushed in to cater to the new ways and new requirements of people. Customer needs and sought value changes by the customer drove everything. When customers buy at a distance, it creates huge need for companies like Amazon. Amazon, from a base of 500,000 workforce at the beginning of COVID-19, within 6 to 8 months, it jumped to 800,000 workers worldwide. And it's, revenues really skyrocketed. Same has happened with other companies which are young at heart and continue to be startups even when they are 20 years old. Amazon started in 1994, okay? And it is still a startup. Every day they are making changes and spawning other new startups within Amazon. That's how unicorns grow. Now let's look at this great quote by Swindoll. He says that, the longer I live, the more convinced I become that, life is just 10% of what happens to us, whereas 90% of life is about how we respond to what is happening to us. Companies like Amazon and, Elon Musk's fantastic magical creations are all following this. Just think about it. Now, startups can create today what others will do in 2030. That I can assure you. If you go with the right startup advisors and follow all the rules, by 2022, you would be doing what other companies are going to be doing in 2030. Already with SpaceX and with Boring and with Neuralink, Elon Musk is in the 2030s, I would say, compared to other people who mostly are in the 2010s, maybe. I don't know. Thank you very much. This has been a great pleasure talking to you. And I would request you to kindly see all our Saturday Startup Success webinars. The link for this is posted on this channel. And also through this channel, you can go to my website, learning11x.in, where you see the whole program and more about startups. Thank you very much for being here.